Hello jugglers! Are you ready for the journey of learning to juggle with 5 balls?
Which beanbag?
Hello! My name is Daniel. Welcome to Circus-expert. If you can already juggle with 3 balls and 4 balls, then you might want to up the level and learn to juggle with 5 balls. But a warning, 5 balls is actually very difficult to learn. Where some people learn to juggle with 3 balls in a week and 4 balls in a month or 2, it took me about 2 years to learn to really juggle 5 balls quite stably. However, it's a really fun journey. I liked it a lot. You learn a lot about learning, about improving, and you get a really unique skill that nobody else, well, not many people can do. Nobody else is a big saying, because I've learned it, and I think with some dedication, you can do so too. For 5 balls, it gets much more tricky because when you're throwing, there's always 3 balls at least in the air. If I make my 3 balls in the different places, I only have 2 hands free to catch them, and this third ball will go somewhere else. So these throws, they always need to be very precise. That's why I highly recommend going back to step number 1 and focus on a single ball. That's what we will start doing today. A single ball throw needs to go, of course, from the inside of the body to the outside, back and forth. But for the 5 ball, it's quite important that it's quite perfect. So I'm looking up, I pick a single point where I focus, and make sure that the ball crosses my periphery, and I catch it with as little movement in my catching hand as possible. I don't want to have to reach out to it. I try and place it already in the perfect catching position, and I throw the ball so it lands in this without having to move my hand. And for the height, I would say it's about, well, higher than 4 balls. It's about almost a meter or 3 feet above your head at the highest point. A little bit less maybe, judging from where I stand. You can practice this throw every day, and the most precise way to make sure that you're not moving your hand is if you find a friend and you ask them to hold your wrists, and then they can block you, and you can only make this catch if you actively move your hand. If I now make my hand somewhere else, then my hand is blocked and I can no longer catch unless I get some extra help. Thank you so much. Like this, you can practice a perfect throw, and you really need perfect throws. If you rely only on your perfect catching skill, then your pattern will get very messy and you'll always have to fight to keep on going, and you can never move up to learn tricks and these kind of things. So, we did 1 ball practice, then we move on to 3 ball practice. There's 2 different patterns we're going to practice with 3 balls. Starting with your cascade, but a lot higher, at 5 ball height. And again, we try to make these perfect throws in a row. We can start from low, go up. And we can do this in 2 different ways. We can make it as slow as possible, so I wait until I make the throw. We call this cold potato, like I'm holding potatoes in my hand that I can hold as long as I want. But we want to try also hot potato, where you think, oh, I don't want to hold it, I need to get rid of it. Or in juggling terms, also we refer to this as dwell time. Dwell time is the amount of time a ball is in the hand. Holding it long is a long dwell time, or holding it short is a short dwell time. So now I'm holding as long as possible, but I can also throw them as soon as they come into my hand. Hot potato style, or short dwell time. And this pattern is not as easy as it looks. To do this precisely and to not lose control of the pattern takes a bunch of practice. So that is the high 3 ball cascade. What we're also going to try and do is some high flashes. I have 3 balls, and I'm going to throw them up 1, 2, 3 at the rhythm of my 5 ball juggling. So my 5 ball goes pop, 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 pum. Pop, pop, pum is now the 3 balls up and I catch. Or out of the cascade, pop, pop, pum, and catch back. Or I can do continuously, starting on my right side and on the left side and the right side. And again, doing this pattern in a controlled fashion is not as easy as it looks, but it's really worth practicing to get your throws as stable and as perfect as possible. And you need perfect throws to be able to do a 5 ball cascade. You can do a similar exercise to this with 4 balls. With 4 balls I can also flash them all up, but now rather than making 3 throws, I make 4 throws. They all cross to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, pop, 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 pum. Or starting with the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, pop, 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 pum. You can even try it continuous, 2 in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is quite hard, so there's also some easier tricks you can do with 4 balls. Rather than throwing all 4 up, I can also throw only 2 up. They're both going to cross. I'm going to do right, left, and then when they're both up, I'm going to do the opposite side, left, right. So right, left, right. 1, 2, 1, 2. And I can keep on doing this as long as I cross right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And also this resembles a 5 ball pattern If you know a little bit about sides up, this is called a 5-5-2. So I make 2 5-ball throws, and then a 2 is the holding the ball in the hand, because actually I'm doing right, left, hold, left, right, hold. Right, left, hold, left, right, hold. Right, left, hold, left, right, hold. If you run 5-5-2 continuously and you like sides ups, you can also jump into a different sides up, 5-5-5-1. It's 3 5-ball throws, 5-5-5-1, and the 1 is a zip. 5-5-5-1. I don't like this pattern so much because it adds an extra action, namely the zip, the passing the ball over, and it's one-sided. I'm only practicing my right hand right now, whereas you also want to practice your left, and then you need to stop and transition into the left side. But for some people, it helps them to practice 5. However, the real practice of 5 starts when you start working on your flashes. You need to hold 3 balls in one hand and 2 balls in the other, and of course you need to be able to throw and catch with your third ball. So I need to catch and land it on top. I need to throw it. To throw it, I have a ball between my thumb and index finger, a ball between my 3 other fingers, and then 1 ball on top. That some people, depending on the kind of ball you use, you're going to squeeze a little bit between your middle and ring finger and your thumb, or you can let it rest on your middle finger and the fingers around. With this size ball, I like to rest it on top rest it between the fingers rather than hold it between the thumb. But it's important that you can throw it comfortably and catch it comfortably. So we can work on a 5-ball flash, where you throw all the balls once and catch them all once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the 5-ball flash, there's 2 things to watch out for. First of all, where you want to place the balls. You want them to land in your hand as much as possible, so not forwards and backwards. And the rhythm and the timing. It gets very tempting to throw 1 ball higher than the others. And you can correct both things by simply throwing them and not catching them. So I'm going to throw up 5 balls, and rather than catch them with my hands, I'm going to see where they land and listen to the rhythm of their landing. So I'm going to throw 5 balls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the rhythm was quite tap, 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 so that's a good sign. You can do this a few times and ultimately you get to catching. But for catching, it gets important that you really focus on which ball stands out. Very often I see people who do 5 balls and 4 of them go perfect, but it's always, for example, number 2 that goes a bit strange. So 1, 2, and the rest goes fine. Now my second ball was much lower, and I need to have the mind space to somehow analyze this and think like, oh, it was the second ball that goes lower. It can also be really helpful if you film yourself, like I'm doing today, and you can watch back the video and see that the second ball does this odd thing, because it takes some time to analyze all the throws. And you can go over the throws one by one. So let's do 5 balls, but only focus on the first ball. Let's go. I think of the first ball, and the other ones go blind almost. I already think of the second ball. I think of the second ball which is the first from my left, and everything else feels almost blind and automatic. You can go over each ball one by one and correct them, because you can correct the spacing, where they land, the height, and of course the timing, which is when they are thrown, but also how high they are. If you have this all nailed down, you can see if you can do multiple flashes in a row. So can you build up to doing, let's say, 5 flashes in a row that you can do clean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's number 1. Start with the same hand always, it's gonna make life easier. Number 2, and number 3. And then you see if you can do 5 in a row without having to drop in between. Of course, now I'm going really fast after another, but you can always take a pause in between to re-analyze what have I just been doing. Did it work the way I want it to be? Was it the right height? Do I want to change it? And only if you have done 5 in a row, you allow yourself to move up a level to, for example, 7 throws and catches. I keep on counting my throws and catches. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And doing this makes it also easier to keep the right rhythm. If I don't count, it might go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you want them all to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can do this even when I do longer ones. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, on longer runs, as you might have already noticed, I count only 1 hand. It goes really fast if I do 2 hands at once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. They go super fast. Whereas 1 hand, I can count only my right hand. Throw, throw, throw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a lot easier. And of course, I want to know how far I got. I just need to multiply it by 2. And I get, well, I might miss 1 ball. Of course, it might not be perfect. I might think that I did 20 catches when I only did 19. But you get close enough if you count 1 hand. For longer runs, I recommend you to try and vary a little bit with the height and the width and the spacing of your pattern. So you can try, once you have it running for longer, to see, does it work better if I go a little bit higher? Or does it work better if I go a little bit lower? And this allows you to find the right pattern. Should I make it a little bit wider? or should it be a little bit more narrow? Or, if you want to get very detailed, you can try and work on the crossing points. I can cross the balls at the highest point of the patterns, or I can cross the balls at the lowest point of the pattern. And probably something in between is the nicest. And this crossing point is adjusted by making your scoop bigger, that will make the crossing point lower, or making your scoop smaller. And a smaller scoop is of course smaller hand movement, which allows you to juggle faster, but a bigger scoop will allow for less collisions and more space and might look prettier. Those kind of variables are going to really come into play when you juggle 5 balls. When you juggle 3, you can just play around and fool around and you have space for everything, but you need to start analyzing your throws when you want to learn 5. What you also need for 5 is some structured, disciplined practice. So for example, you say 3 times a week or 5 times a week, I'm going to practice for at least 15 minutes. And for the first 5 of those minutes, I'm going to only work on my 3-ball flashes and for my 3-ball high throws. If you're just going to wing it and throw against it, you're going to have a very frustrating time. That's what I did in the beginning. But once I learned how to structure my practice, I got a lot better, up to the point where I can now run easily 5 balls for over a minute or 2. I think my record is close to 10. And I can only do that because I've been able to learn all the different ways of making my pattern more flexible, higher, lower, spinning to the left, spinning to the right, turning in a circle. And with a lot of practice and dedication and hopefully a bit of my advice, you can learn all of this too. If you learned something new today, like this video, then I'll keep on making more. Subscribe to our channel if you want to know more tricks, and I hope this video brought you a step closer to your goal of learning 5-ball juggling. Good luck and have a nice day. Bye bye.